before this commission, when General Diya read his petition, and you heard what he said in both petition admitted as Exhibit 1 and also Exhibit 2, his addendum. You listened to all he said, including his further explanations.
I did.
Yes. Now, do you have anything to say in response to all that he has stated?
I do have.
Yes. My Lord, sir, the witness has put down what he wants to say in response to all that General Diya.
In writing?
Yes, my Lord.
Very good.
I want after reading it.
After tendering it first, then marked, then read.
Okay, my Lord. My Lord, can I have what you prepared?
I put my response.
My Lord, sir, I seek to tender his response.
Tender. What is the... Yes.
Please silence.
Exhibit 24. All right.
General, sir, please could you go through what?
Read.
Thank you, my Lord. Before I go into my address, I will want to make a suggestion to this commission. There are two vital witnesses that I think will be very helpful to this commission, and I hope the commission will try to get them.
Give us their names, please.
Their names are Lieutenant Colonel M. Garba.
Yes.
Commanding officer, former commanding officer, 3 Guards Battalion.
Yes.
He is now in the Infantry School and Center in Jaji, Kaduna.
Yes.
The second one is Major Fadipe, the former Chief Secretary Officer to General Diya, who is incidentally, I saw him this morning.
Is he in court? Is he here today?
Well, I saw him this morning.
All right.
Mr. Fadipe.
Make a list of the names and then issue summons, please. All right, read them.
My Lord, I thank the Almighty God for making it possible for me to be here today, because I know my name has been all over the place for all sorts of things. And I think this commission is God's gift for me to express myself, make my views known, so that Nigerians will actually know the truth. Now, these are statements on petition of Lieutenant General Diya and the violations of my own rights and those of my family, friends, and relations. Introduction. I must state that I am particularly delighted at the opportunity extended to me by this Honorable Commission set up by the country's national democratic government led by General Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, to investigate cases of alleged breaches or violations of human rights, to respond to the allegations concerning me in some petitions to the Commission. I need also to say that my desire to speak on these issues that affect me in the petition became more and more burning in view of the personality of the chairman and other members of this commission. Your integrity and respect of the rule of law are unquestionable, and I enjoy all overwhelming Nigerians in congratulating you, knowing that this task, as great as it is not at all capable of overwhelming or beclouding your sense of justice. God shall surely see you through. It is very surprising that even though General Diya clearly admitted the fact that there was a coup plot in that his only complaint on the alleged scanty nature of the evidence, he still could assert that, I quote, while the details of the alleged coup plot are contestable, what are incontrovertible are the following glaring breaches of my fundamental rights and blatant abuses of the rules of natural justice, unquote. I have read the petition written by General Diya, and I cannot help but sympathize with General Diya's lack of grace to accept full responsibility for what he not only conceived, but also translated into action. This he did by contacting and recruiting officers in that regard, designing and funding, among other things, the execution of his conception. And I do state that whereas it remains incontrovertible that General Diya conceived, initiated, and funded the December 1997 aborted coup, the alleged breaches of Diya's fundamental rights by me are not only contestable, but did not exist at all. Furthermore, contrary to the allegation that the 1997 December coup was a mere setup in order to humiliate General Diya and others who are referred to by General Diya in his petition, I quote, my ethnic grouping within the army, unquote. The coup was in fact initiated by General Diya, who independently and personally co-opted officers from his ethnic group for the coup. At the Special Investigation Panel convened by General Abacha, who was then the Chief of Defense Staff, who later set up the Special Military Tribunal presided over by General Malu, the present Chief of Army Staff, which convicted General Diya and others for the coup attempt. I stated the truth about the coup attempt. I will restate the truth of the facts as they were, including the antecedents, in order that Nigerians will enjoy the full benefit of this public hearing and know the truth about the coup. I was never arrested and could not have been arrested for reporting a coup. Every officer in the Nigerian Army is aware that once you know or hear about a coup and report it, you have no case to answer on the coup, and you cannot be arrested in connection with the coup you have reported. General Diya is fully aware of this position, and I should add that in this particular case, no general officer commanding was arrested. The attempted coup was 20th of the 21st December 1997. The background. It all started when I was the commander of Lagos Garrison Command in 1995. It was then my responsibility to receive and serve General Diya, the then Chief of General Staff, whenever he came to Lagos, most of which were the weekends and public holidays. When I became Chief of Army Staff in March 1996, General Aziza took over the command of Lagos Garrison Command and was therefore responsible for receiving General Diya at the airport whenever he went to Lagos. It was during one of such visits in 1997, as reported by General Aziza, who fortunately is here, that General Diya invited General Aziza to drive in the same car with him, an opportunity I never had. And General Diya started discussing the coup and instructed General Aziza to speak to me about it. At that time, I was on tour of the 2nd Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army, which ended at the Artillery Brigade of Oputa in September 1997. On the Saturday, after I returned to Lagos from the tour, General Aziza came to my official residence to speak to me on the instructions of General Diya about removing General Abacha from power. As soon as General Aziza informed me about his discussion with General Diya, I contacted the ADC to late General Abacha, then Lieutenant Colonel Abdallah, and asked him to book an appointment for me with the CNC, late General Sani Abacha. I flew to Abuja on Sunday, but was unable to see General Abacha until the following day, being Monday. I reported to General Abacha as expected of every officer, and suggested that General Diya, Aziz and myself be called by the Commander-in-Chief to discuss the matter so that whatever grievances that might have existed could be resolved. General Abacha, however, rejected my suggestion because, according to him, that was not the first time General Diya planned a coup against him, but rather asked me to meet General Diya as requested by him. I then went to meet General Diya in his office, and after paying compliments, told him that General Aziza had discussed his message with me. He, Diya, restated his grievances, as he reportedly did to General Aziza, and spoke about how he was kept out of the scheme of things, and concluded that there was a need to remove General Abacha from office. After all, he said, I quote, General Abacha has a terminal illness, unquote, and added that, quote, when the old man goes, you boys should not forget to maintain the hierarchy, unquote. General Diya had earlier at the presidential villa whispered the same thing to me, and I'm aware he did to General Aziza as well. I thereafter reported to the then C&C, General Abacha, of Diya's position, and he directed me to keep track of General Diya until he has completely unfolded his plot. Meetings. Let me emphasize here that General Diya presided over all the meetings held except the one that was held in General Adisa's house and General Olaruwaju's house in Lagos. I therefore want to on the meetings. As earlier indicated, my first contact with General Diya on the coup was on the 26th of September 1997 in his office. I want to inform him that Major General Aziza has spoken to me based on the discussion they had while he was in Lagos. I then suggested that it would be better if the three of us, thus General Diya, Major General Aziza and myself met to enable us to discuss the issues properly. He agreed, and Major General Aziza and myself met him in his house one evening in Abuja for further discussions on the change of government. My next meeting with General Diya was in his office, sometime in October 1997. This time, he spoke at length on how he had been sidelined and how the C&C had become selfish and would not listen to advice from those who should have advised him. He also accused the C&C of personalizing government, as he did not even allow the PRC to carry out its functions. General Diya then came out to reiterate the need for a change and believed that when the change was affected, the hierarchy must be maintained, which meant he would become the C&C. Then he showed concern about getting the cooperation of general officers commanding. I told him that the general officers commanding would not be a problem because I could convince them. Our next meeting was in the CJS Chief of General Staff's office. Although we did not discuss much because the CJS had not contacted Major General Olaruwaju, who was already in touch with CJS on the issue, so that the three of us could meet. On the coup was on the 26th of September 1997 in his office. I want to inform him that Major General Aziza has spoken to me based on this meeting, which was scheduled for another date. We then met in Lagos on 1st of December 1997 in Major General Olaruwaju's house, which meeting was also attended by Major General Aziza. At this meeting, Major General Olaruwaju expressed his pleasure at his removal as minister and promised to handle disconnection of telephone communications Lagos and Abuja using some NITEL staff. He was then left the office of the Minister for Communications. He also mentioned the fact that he had made contact with one German who promised to ensure that the German government recognized the new government once the change was effected. He did not mention the German's name. He also promised to contact Colonels Mazda and Jando, artillery officers, to join the group. It should be noted that as soon as Major General Olariwaju contacted the officers, Colonel Mazda, as expected of every loyal officer, insisted on seeing the Commander-in-Chief, which he did through the Chief of Defense Staff, AVM Idi Musa. This action was responsible for the exemption of Colonel Mazda from the Coup trial, and similar officers who pledged their loyalty with the CNC, whereas Colonel Jando, who was contacted and accepted to participate without any attempt to report what was ordinarily an act of rebellion, was tried, found guilty, and convicted by the tribunal. The next meeting with the CJS and Major General Olariwaju took place on the 6th of December 1997. During this meeting, the decision to remove the CNC was finalized, and the CNC was to be arrested in Enugu during the opening of 1997 Chief of Army Staff Annual Training Conference on Monday, 8th December 1997 in Enugu. Major General Magashi was to handle the operation in Abuja using the commanding officers of 3 and 81 Guard battalions. For this reason, I left Major General Magashi in Abuja while I proceeded for the conference. Note should, however, be taken that all these plans were made to the presidency at every stage in consonance with military practice, which fact is very well known to General Diya. I am glad he also admitted that here, who in his petition also affirmed that General Abacha, I quote, was indeed fully briefed of every inch of the way from the first moment to the last, unquote. We met again in the CJS office on 11 December 1997. On this occasion, I had to leave Enugu for Abuja to find out the next plan of action, since the Commander-in-Chief did not attend the conference in Enugu. It was at this meeting that other options were suggested. The CGS, then General Diya, was bitter that no alternative plans were made in case the CNC did not go to Enugu. I told him that the CNC gave us all assurance that he was going to attend the conference. He then gave me other options, which he said he had discussed with Major General A.K. Adisa and Major Fadike, and that they were later relayed to Lieutenant Colonel Garba, commanding officer, 3 Guard Battalion. Note that I was not aware that General Adisa had been part of Diya's plan until Diya himself told me, and thereafter we met with General Adisa at Diya's instance to discuss the change of government. At another meeting of the 13th of December 1997, attended by Major B.S. Magashi, Major A.K. Adisa, and myself at General Adisa's house, General A.K. Adisa assured us of the loyalty of some bodyguards, especially Major B.M. Mohammed. He confirmed that he had contacted Major B.M. Mohammed, who was to get other bodyguards in the villa to assist. General Adisa also confirmed that Major General A.T. Olariwaju was to contact some artillery officers to coordinate the operation. The largest meeting was that of 14 December 1997. This was attended and of course chaired by Lieutenant General Diya. Present were Major General HRVIC, Major General B.S. Magashi, Lieutenant Colonel M. Garba, CO3 Gas Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Riba, CO81 Gas Battalion, Major Fadipe, and myself. At the meeting, it was agreed that all general officers commanding were to be informed and additional funds were to be made available. Eventually, my lord, 2 million naira was provided by Lieutenant General Diya through Major Fadipe to Lieutenant Colonel Garba, CO3 Gas Battalion. The plans and options. Since the CNC did not attend the Chief Army Staff Conference in Enugu, other options are suggested by General Diya and General Disa were A. ECOWAS meeting in Lomé. The Commander-in-Chief was to attend an ECOWAS summit in Lomé on 17 December 1997. He was to be overthrown as soon as he left Abuja Airport. The CSO, NSA, and Commander Gas Brigade were to be arrested at the airport on the CNC's departure, and the change of government immediately announced. The presidency was accordingly informed of this plan, and the CNC did not travel out of the country. B. The NIIA dinner in Sheraton Hotel. Since the CNC did not travel to Lomé, we were informed that he was to attend a dinner in Sheraton on 19 December 1997. The plan here was to assassinate the CNC on his way back from the dinner. In this case, Major General Diya had contacted Commanding Officer 3 Gas Battalion to provide soldiers and 4 RPGs, these are rocket-propelled guns, which are also anti-tanks, to shoot the CNC's vehicle on his way out of the Sheraton Hotel. The soldiers were to ensure that the CNC did not escape. The CNC did not attend this dinner because it was informed.
Nigeria is taking giant strides in national development. Governments at all levels in the country are embarking on programs that are designed to improve the standard of living of their citizens. Provision and maintenance of essential infrastructure are receiving special attention. These are the gains of democracy. Contribute positively to Nigeria's development and good image. Be a Nigerian Democrat.
Jumat prayers. C. There was also a plan to assassinate the CNC on Friday the 12th of December 1997 on his way to or back from the mosque or during Jumat prayers. In fact, this plan to assassinate the CNC was dropped because of the high casualty that was bound to occur during this operation. D. The D-Day. By D-Day, I mean the actual date for the overthrow. When other options failed, the option of seizing the villa, arresting the Chief Security Officer CSO, Commander Gas Brigade, the National Security Advisor NSA, and storming the villa was finally agreed upon, and the D-Day was put for 20th of the 21st December 1997. And the H hour, my lord, when we say H hour, that is the actual time of operation, was on the arrest of the CSO. As agreed, I came into Abuja on this day with Major General Magashi in order to play our supposed roles in the plan by General Diya to effect change of government. On arrival, we proceeded to CGS house, where the CGS invited Major Fadikwe to brief us on the operation. I then asked for the speech to enable General Magashi read through and rehearse, because at that time, General Magashi, who was assigned the role of announcing the coup, for reasons stated hereunder, had not seen the speech. The idea informed us that the speech was ready, but that he was making some corrections. My Lord, the coup speech, paragraph 5. We left for my then official residence at Fort IBB Barracks, with General Diya promising to send the speech as soon as he was through with the corrections. At about 6 p.m. on 20 December 97, Major Fadikwe came to brief us, that's General Magashi and myself, on the developments, and we asked about the coup speech. He went back to General Diya's residence, collected his speech, and brought it to General Magashi. Major Fadikwe gave the H hour as being on the arrest of the CSO and wanted to know how best to get the CSO and Commander Gas Brigade. I told them that I was going to invite them to come and see me. Major Fadikwe and his team were to arrest the officers. Major Fadikwe informed us that he has arranged gas that will make the officers slip off to make the arrest easier. I then connected them with my security officer, Captain U.M. Baturi, who knew where the two officers were to be invited to. The CSO was, however, warned. That's Major Mustafa. The CSO was, however, warned to remain in the villa and not leave the villa for any reason. Major Fadikwe and his boys were later arrested by CO3 Gas Battalion and Captain Baturi. Funding, my lord, of the coup. Funding for the coup was provided by Lieutenant General Diya and Major General A.T. Olariwaju as follows. A total of $60,000 in $50,000 traveler's checks, denomination, and $10,000 cash were provided by Lieutenant General Diya to me on 1st of December 1997 in General Diya's office. The money was meant for distribution to general officers commanding, to take to Naira, for officers and soldiers that were to be on standby on RCA. My Lord, RCA has cash allowance for feeding of soldiers. The money had nothing to do with a gift to the GOCs. It was meant for soldiers that were involved in this, or that would have been involved in the operation. B, 2 million Naira was provided by Lieutenant General Diya as additional funds for RCA because the operation was delayed as a result of the failure of the CNC to go to Enugu. The money was given to Lieutenant Colonel M. Garba, CO3 Gas Battalion, through Diya's Security Officer, Major Fadikwe. C, Major General A.T. Olariwaju provided a total sum of 1.5 million, 1,500,000 Naira. He first provided 500,000 to me in Abuja on the 28th of November 1997. The money was collected by Copy M.U. Bature, that's from General Olariwaju's house, and counted by late General M.D. Gumet, I.D. Gumet, my lord, Major General V.S. Magashi, Captain U.M. Bature, and myself. He later gave the sum of 1 million to Major General P.N. Aziza in Lagos. Major General P.N. Aziza sent the money to me on the 5th of December 1997. All these monies were available in the same denomination and some as given to various people and were presented as exhibits at both the Special Investigation Panel and the Military Tribunal. Recruitment, my lord. A. When the plan reached an advanced stage, Lieutenant General Diya wanted to find out how we can get officers, especially the general officers commanding, to accept the plan. I told him, as earlier mentioned, that we had no problem with the general officers commanding. He therefore wanted to know who would make the announcement in different parts of the country. He suggested that Major Magashi be recruited for the Operation Abuja. He told me why we needed Magashi in the group, and some of the reasons were: A, Magashi from Kano and would be useful in making a broadcast in Abuja, as most northerners would accept him. To my lord, he commanded the Brigade of Guards and could easily get the support of officers and soldiers of the brigade. 3, as a Muslim, he was most likely to get the support of majority Muslims in the north. Based on these considerations, Lieutenant General Diya directed that Major General B.S. Magashi be contacted, and I arranged a meeting between the two of them, where General Magashi assured General Diya of his willingness to participate in the change of government. The two officers met several times in my absence. General Diya also suggested that Lieutenant Colonel Garba, CO3 Guard Battalion, be recruited because he also hails from Kano. General B.S. Magashi was asked by Diya to talk to Lieutenant Colonel Garba. Lieutenant Colonel Garba's soldiers were to be used in Abuja. The commanding officer, CO, was then directed to report to Lieutenant General Diya early on the 8th of December 1997, when the CNC was expected to have traveled to Enugu to ensure that important installations were taken over by his soldiers. My lord, at this point, I want to re-emphasize that all these recruitments were actually made known to the Commander-in-Chief before any officer was spoken to. The CO and Lieutenant Diya held meetings while I was in Enugu, while Major General B.S. Magashi remained in Abuja during part of the Chief of Army Staff's conference to supposedly ensure that things were put in place. The commanding officer in One Guard Battalion was also recruited as part of the group to effect the change. General Diya also introduced to me a man in his house who he said was a retired United Staff, Engineer A.A. Adebanjo, and was to disconnect communication systems in Abuja on D-Day. He also said he was keeping the man in his house so that he did not leak the plan. This man was arrested in Diya's house and subsequently tried for the coup. One unfortunate aspect of the plan was that there was no reason for the change of government besides personal issues and open hatred for the person of the CNC by General Diya. I asked several questions on the objectives of the change and got no reply from General Diya. All questions on foreign support were also avoided. It was very clear, therefore, that the reasons and objectives for the intended change of government were only known to Lieutenant General Diya. Plan to assassinate Generals Magashi, Aziza, and myself. In addition to all this, my lord, it was unknown to General Magashi, Aziz and myself, that General Diya and Olariwaju had planned to eliminate us immediately were concluded in our various roles and assigned to us by General Diya in the coup. General Aziza was scheduled to be killed in Lagos, whereas General Magashi and myself were to be killed in Abuja, and the killings were to be presented to the public as incidental shootout between troops loyal to General Abacha and the coupists. In my case, one warrant officer, Coca, attached to General Diya, who with others were assigned the responsibility of eliminating me, were arrested and disarmed by my security men led by Captain Bature inside my then official residence at Fort Abbey Barracks, with his weapon cocked, if I may add. General Ziza is in the best position to say how he escaped being killed in Lagos. It is clear that the desire by General Diya to become the commander-in-chief was no respecter of anything or person, perceived to be a stumbling block on his path. His quest for power at all costs made General Diya to be at home with coup staging that not only did he initiate the coup to unseat Abeton successfully, late General Abacha, but also organized for elimination unsuccessfully too, all in the process of executing his plan. Who else could be a better masterminder and executioner than Diya himself? In fact, Diya's resolve in ensuring that we had heeded his persistent warning and reminded that, I quote, "I rely on you boys. Don't forget to maintain the hierarchy," unquote, endangered his subsequent ploy to eliminate us in order that we did not live to as much as contemplate refusing him his position in the hierarchy. My Lord, I really wonder if General Diya would have done what General Salami Abubakar did if he, Diya, had succeeded in his coup and subsequent coup. In spite of General Diya's desperation as exhibited above, I have been astonished at some statements credited to General Diya to the effect that I was to be the head of state if the coup had succeeded. This is rather ridiculous. What then would have been Diya's fate if I became the head of state? Would General Diya, who was then a Lieutenant General, and I, a Major General, retire voluntarily to let me be the head of state? Or was he going to be a minister under my supposed regime? What would have been Diya